What is a competitive advantage? A competitive advantage is when an entity can create more economic value than the rival entity. It provides a way for the entity to target its market with a set of distinctive characteristics that are substantial and top quality compared to the competition. Why is it important to remember to acknowledge strategic management in conjunction with competitive advantage? Strategic management is the action of acquiring a competitive advantage and sustaining that advantage. Using strategic management and competitive advantage together is the key to keeping a competitive advantage. Temporary competitive advantage versus sustained competitive advantage. A temporary competitive advantage lasts only for a limited amount of time, producing a competitive disadvantage, meaning that the entity generates a smaller amount of financial worth than its competitor. A sustained competitive advantage is a lasting advantage over its competitors, which is why an entity must continue to cultivate and support that advantage. The main types of competitive advantage. The two main types of competitive advantage are cost advantage and differentiation advantage. Cost advantage has a similar product with low cost. Differentiation advantage is a unique product at a higher cost. The 5 generic strategies by Michael Porter. There's cost leadership, focused cost leadership, differentiation, focused differentiation, and in the middle we have integrated cost leadership and differentiation. Cost leadership focuses on gaining advantages by reducing costs that are below those of the competitors. The market base is industry wide with a broad target of competitive scope. With focused cost leadership, we're competing but not necessarily changing to the lowest price, but charging lower prices relative to other entities that are competing within the same target market. The market base is niche with a narrow target of competitive scope. Differentiation focuses on building unique features to come out on top in the target market and usually charges higher prices to offset the cost of being unique. The market base is industry wide with a broad target of competitive scope. Focused differentiation focuses on offering unique features that fulfill the demands of a narrow market. The market base is niche with a narrow target of scope. With integrated cost leadership and differentiation, it's a hybrid strategy focusing on producing low cost products with differentiated features and is about simultaneously focusing on cost and differentiation. The market base is both niche and industry-wide with a narrow or broad target of competitive scope. Here we have a chart of the generic strategies and industry forces and how they compare. The industry forces, the entry barriers, buying power, supply power, threat of substitutes, and rivalry, and how they compare to cost leadership, differentiation, and focus. Now we will go into more depth on each of the strategies. Cost advantage. We must identify the entity's main activities and supportive activities. All the activities such as receiving materials, storing materials, marketing, selling, and customer support that are taken on to produce products or services must be distinctly identified and divided. These necessities are a sufficient knowledge of an entity's operation because supply chain activities are not organized in the same way as the entity itself. We must establish the comparative significance of each action in the total cost of the product. The entire expense of producing a product or service must be broken down and given to each activity. Activity-based costs are used to compute costs for each process. Activities that are the main source of cost or done inefficiently when benchmarking against the competition must be addressed first. More about cost leadership strategy. The cost reducing actions needed for this strategy include building capable scale aspects, strictly control over production costs, reducing costs of sales, building resourceful manufacturing services, supervising costs of outside activities, and making similar production procedures. And how to attain a cost advantage. Alter production processes, build new distribution channels, form new advertising, direct sales replace indirect sales, find new raw materials, use forward integration or backward integration, and change location in relation to suppliers or buyers. So what are the risks of cost leadership? Extreme technological changes could take away your cost advantage. There's threat of competitors imitating your supply chain, and focus on efficiency of cost leadership could lead to ignoring changes in customer preferences. Now let's look at differentiation strategy. An integrated set of actions designed by an entity to produce or deliver goods at an adequate cost that customers recognize as being unique in ways that are significant to them. Price for some products can surpass what the entity's target customers are prepared to pay. Non-standardized products and customers must value differentiation features over that of the value of low cost. Factors that lead differentiation: unique product features, unique product performance, exceptional service, new technologies, quality of input, exceptional design, and focus on the quality of customer devotion. What are the risks of differentiation? Customers may determine that the price between the differentiated product and the cost leader's product is too great. Product features and characteristics are easily duplicated. The entity must always be steps ahead and invest in advancing and perfecting the product to prevent it from becoming outdated. And consumers are always attracted to what is new. An entity must keep up with the cutting edge trends and technologies, or its target market will switch to a competitor. Now let's take a look at focus strategies. Focus strategies must utilize a narrow market target differences and the balance of the industry by isolating a certain purchasing group, isolating a unique product line, and concentrating on specific geographical market. Factors that lead focused strategies. Larger entities may neglect minor niche opportunities. Entities may lack the resources to compete in a broader market. An entity may be able to serve a narrow market segment more effectively than the large industry-wide competitors. And it may allow the entity to direct resources to certain supply chain activities and build a competitive advantage. What are the risks of focus strategies? An entity may be absorbed by its competitors. Large competitors may set its focus on your niche market, and niche market may change to match those of a broad market. Now let's look at integrated or hybrid strategies. A firm that successfully uses an integrated cost leadership and differentiation strategy must be able to adapt quickly to environmental changes, learn new skills and techniques quickly, effectively leverage its main capabilities while competing against rivals through providing differentiated products at low costs. Benefits of an integrated strategy. Successful entities use this strategy must have above average returns, and entities offer two types of values to customers: differentiated features, and they come at reasonably low costs. Finally, let's look at the risks of integrated strategies or hybrid strategies. An integrated cost differentiation strategy frequently involves compromises, either the lowest cost or the differentiation. And the entity may become stuck by lacking a deep commitment than entities following a cost leadership or differentiated strategy.